Well, hello there, and welcome to this episode of the Terri Cole Show. I'm so psyched that you are hanging out with me today. I want to talk to you about how you relate to rewards in your life or treats in your life, because there's this whole little treat culture that has been infiltrating our social media experience, our online experience. And it's not a new concept, but it's one that I thought was worth talking about. I've read a couple of really great articles about it recently, so I just figured I would bring it to your attention. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how you can motivate yourself in a healthy way by using little treats throughout your day. And I'm giving you a step-by-step process of actually doing that in your life. So before we get into it, if you happen to be new here, my name is Terri Cole. I'm a licensed psychotherapist, a relationship expert, the author of Boundary Boss and the Boundary Boss Workbook, and this brand new book, baby, Too Much, a guide to breaking the cycle of high-functioning codependency that you can get at hfcbook.com. And you still have access to all of the amazing bonuses. So go there if you're interested. I also want to encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel because I know I've been saying it lately, but it's true that almost 70% of the people who watch regularly are not subscribed. I don't get it. So it helps me if you do subscribe and doesn't hurt you at all. So do it. If you love it, that's one thing you can do right now is hit the subscribe button. Also, hit that little bell icon so that you can get notified whenever I roll out something new, which is every Tuesday and every Thursday. Tuesdays are my solo episodes like today, and Thursdays I'm interviewing people. And if there are people you want me to interview that I haven't, just drop comments for me. You know, we read everything. I read everything. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. Let's move it on into today's episode. All right, so here's the thing with treats. A lot of times we think about treating ourselves as being indulgent. We feel bad that we're focusing on ourselves or giving something to ourselves. And actually, it's something that can be really, really motivating and can be really productive. So there really is this rise of the little treats, quote unquote, on social media platforms. And it's falling under the category of like self-care and motivation, which I love. And I have to say, I'm always a little treat gal myself personally. I love it. So in this world where there's also so much focus put on productivity and how much we should do and I talk all the time about life being a long game and accomplishments being a long game, and all of those things are true. But there's something about having a treat to look forward to that is really, really motivating. And sometimes it's just the things we do in life are exhausting, even if we love doing them. Parenting is tiring. Household chores, got to get done, but not always like our most favorite thing to do. And sometimes work can just become boring. So taking time for small, moments of rewarding yourself can really feel like a luxury. And for me, it's almost like a recalibration of my energy or where I am, right? So this can be good for your mental health. When you give yourself a treat, you actually release dopamine in your brain. So, listen, if you guys didn't know about little treats, just put it in. If you're on TikTok or Instagram, there are so many people talking about this right now. It actually blew my mind because I really didn't know people were talking about it until I started reading a bunch of articles on it. So some people might put this under the category of like, oh, but you're actually pampering yourself if you're doing this. But there really is a strong psychological correlation, right? There's something that strengthens us mental health-wise. It's using, when you think about what we're doing, we're using positive reinforcement, right, to encourage us to keep going with our good habits that we've started. So there was a principle, the key principle basically behind this, and I was reading this in, I think it was Psychology Today article. I'll put whatever the references are though in the blog. Don't worry. It is the Premack Principle, right, which explains why treating ourselves is more than a trend, but it really is a way that we can improve our lives. So I think this was work that was done in the 1960s by an American psychologist called David Premack, if I'm saying that correctly, and he developed a theory known as the Premack Principle, and how he explained how doing something that you're more likely to do can be a reward for doing something you don't actually want to do. right? Doing something you are more likely to do can be a reward for doing something you don't actually want to do. For instance, if you finish a task that you have not wanted to do, something that, yuck, you don't feel like doing it, like let's say cleaning your bedroom closet or whatever, you can treat yourself to something nice, right? Like maybe cappuccino, or maybe watching an episode of your favorite television show. Something that would, the thing is, for it to actually work, it has to feel like a reward, right? And what does it do? It taps into our natural desire to take a break, our natural desire to have fun and do something that we would enjoy as opposed to something we wouldn't enjoy. And it's interesting. I was reading in Self magazine, I think it was, that millennials and Gen Z are sort of rejecting what is called grit language and like fear of punishment as motivators. Because think about it, for so long, it was a badge of honor to be like a grinder, to be a hustler, to be like getting it done, out there doing it, no rest for the wicked, blah, 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 right? No pain, no gain, all of that crap. The younger generations, well, younger than me, are actually rejecting that and sort of having a more positive response to the promise of something satisfying and rewarding, right? So we're looking for, it's like incentives, these little treats is like a mini reward system that can keep us going. And there was this great quote in the Self magazine article from one of my friends who's been on the show, Britt Frank, and she says, we are post-pandemic and in an election years, so life can really feel overwhelming and out of control. This was the end of last year. And Britt specializes in productivity and stress management. And she said, my little treat doesn't fix any of that, but it does give the illusion that I'm in control of my universe and I can do what I want and have what I want, right? So what she's talking about, even if it's a small thing, right? So we know that these small indulgences, whether it's a sweet treat or whether it's taking a walk, right? If you're busy, that they make us feel good in the moment. And we want to incorporate those into our daily life. And that's what this episode is all about, is I want to encourage you and walk you through the process of really thinking about this little treat culture and trying to incorporate it into your life, because anything that we do that regularly boosts our dopamine, makes us feel kind of good about ourselves, is good for everything. It's good for our nervous system. It's good for our immune system. Anything that makes you feel good, especially in the world the way that it is, because there are a lot of things to be worried about, and a lot of us are worried about a lot of things, that we are, exactly as Britt said, it makes us feel a little bit masterful around our world right now. And the question is, does the science sort of support that, getting a little treat does sort of work on our brains? And the answer is yes, because we know that some happy hormones, right, dopamine in particular, gets released. And what does that do? Sparks pleasure, sparks satisfaction, but it also, it hits that part of the brain that motivates us to pursue that feeling again. So if we're attaching these little treats to things that we normally don't want to do, it reinforces these productive or these positive or these healthy behaviors that we want more of in our lives. Or it just makes the things that suck that we have to do in life suck a little bit less, right? Because there is something satisfying at the end of doing them. So there are different studies that have been done. One of them by Landry was the name of the person who did it, and this was in 2019, found that the reward, right, it wasn't necessarily about the reward, right? It was how quickly you didn't have to wait for the reward. It's how the reward makes people feel that helps them do their best or get the thing done. So we know that the reward boosts the dopamine, right? This plays a key role in us feeling pleasure. So that study basically said it's not the reward itself, obviously, which I don't even know if we needed a study to tell us it's not the latte. It's the feelings the latte produces in our brains and in our bodies. So how can you do it for yourself? I mean, I think we need to make it doable, right? So we have to start by having goals that make sense, right? Goals that are actually doable. So this is why it's called little treat culture. I also would like it to be little goal culture, right? So we're not looking at, I'm going to get a treat after I get my PhD. That's not what we're talking about. Not in this episode and not in little treat culture. We're talking about having clear, achievable goals, right? It could just be easy stuff that you do every day. Work out, right? That's something. Do the grocery shopping, the food prep for the week. And these are things that maybe you would be doing anyway. And of course, there's going to be some on that list that are like the tasks you really, really do not like to do. And if you cannot find a way to delegate those tasks to other people or swap with someone else, and you're going to need to do it, see what happens for you when you attach a little treat at the end of accomplishing that. And I want you to make note of what happens and how you do it. So you're going to have an ongoing list. And then you have to figure out, what are rewards that matter to you? What are treats that you actually want to have that really feel like a treat, that either feel indulgent, that just positively impact your sense of well-being. So again, it could be anything that you love. I really love a good cup of coffee. I also really love a good piece of chocolate, right? So knowing that I would have just a little piece of chocolate at the end of something feels great to me. That is a sweet little treat that motivates me to get done, whether it's my taxes or whatever the thing is that I've got to do. And I think that tying rewards to specific achievements, right? So you want to make sure that what your treat or your reward is connected to actually completing certain goals or tasks, reaching those, right? You want a direct link between the goal and the task and the treat. This reinforces you to engage in the behavior more often. So we want to be getting things done with this. And again, you guys, I'm not like all productivity all the time. That's not what I'm saying. Why this is interesting to me personally is that, first of all, I really like treating myself. I do. And I want you to like treating yourself too. My husband is not great at this, so I'm always trying to bring little treat culture into the relationship. He thinks I should have all the treats that I want, that I should get treats for what I do. But he never thinks of himself in that way. So I'm always trying to lure him into little treat culture. He sometimes will jump on board, but he's got like an Eastern European vibe in a way where it's all productivity all the time. He is such a workaholic. Anyway, I digress. Long way around the barn to get back to also understanding that we want the treats to sort of be in moderation, because this is also how it works, right? Because if anything is too much, if we won't be able to keep it up, right? And if you give yourself a reward anytime you feel like it no longer is a reward. Then you move from being excited about it to feeling entitled to it, which doesn't produce the same dopamine, because that's like an expectation. Think about how that works in relationships. You know what I mean? And you also want to make sure that it's actually helping you do the things that you want to do, right? Once you start this process, you're going to be writing it down, and we'll have the steps all in the guide, terricole.com/guide. You're going to start to, first you're going to check for 7 days. Was it easier? Was it more fun? Did you get more accomplished with less angst? Because this is really what we're talking about, is how do we make life sweeter? Not to make a corny pun, but I guess I did, right? How do we, especially the shit we have to do? There's just stuff we have to do. So let's just say you have to take a kid to dance, and you're going to be sitting in the car while they're doing that or wherever for a period of time. What would feel like a treat? Could you watch something on your phone while your kid is doing what they need to do so you don't have to drive all the way home, or whatever it is? Like, you think about it in your life. Would that feel like a treat? Because something like that is not harming you, right? So again, it's a combination. Is yes to getting things done, but I also look at it as yes to getting through things more easily, with ease and grace, instead of with frustration and anger, right? Because that does not produce dopamine, so we don't want to do that. So in the end, what do we do? Like the power of how do you actually change your life and add these sweet treats in? I want to hear from you guys. What is it that you added to your life? Can you get creative about your treats? And it doesn't have to, I'm saying sweet treats. I don't mean sweet treats. I mean sweet because it's a nice thing to do for yourself. Can it be something sweet? Of course it can. Does it have to be something sweet? No, it most definitely does not and won't be for many people. But I think that this shift from grind culture, from overworking, from the endless, it's just the treadmill of work. And there's so many of you who write into me and say that you feel like, as my friend David G would say, you wake up, burn through the day, drop, and do it all over again. And how incredibly not satisfying living that way is. And I feel like sweet treats are like a pattern interruption that we can do that actually makes life a little bit sweeter, a little bit easier. But let's just stop all of this glorifying working like animals. And listen, I'm talking to you and I'm also talking to me because this is something that I've always struggled with in my life. Once I got sober many moons ago, many decades ago at this point, it's like I felt like my addiction transferred to a little bit to working out, which was okay because it was healthy and it wasn't ridiculous. It just was, I was really committed to working out every day. But I think that working also became something that I got a lot of self-worth from, certainly in my younger life, for sure. In my 20s, when I was still a talent agent, my ambition was just, I just was so ambitious. That's all I thought about was what is next in my career? Who else can I represent? What other deals can I do? That type of a thing. And again, only through the therapeutic process was I able to really look and go, okay, I'm really running away from something with all of this ambition. My illusion was that I was running towards something. And sometimes if you work like that with no breaks, with no little treat culture in your life, with no thinking about what you really need to do and when do you really need to rest and what is best for you and what will release dopamine in your brain and in your life, it's like not that satisfying. And for me, I ended up feeling kind of bitter, right? Because I worked so much, even though I was offering to do so. And trust me, any business you work in, if you're willing to work all the time, yeah, no one's going to stop you. I mean, most places are not going to stop you. So I want you to think of this little treat culture experiment that we're all going to be doing together as something that you can do in your life to sort of change the level of satisfaction that you're experiencing. I want to know if you guys do it, so you have to actually just wherever you listen to the pod, leave a note in the comment section or just post it in your stories. I'll do a poll. When this comes out, I'll do a poll because I want to know what are the little treats that really do it for you? And are you willing to just do something different and join me in trying this out as an experiment if you're not already doing this in your life? Don't forget to go grab the guide because I'm walking you through the steps in the guide, terricole.com/guide. And if you love this snuggliness between us, if you love it's like we are virtually snuggling up on a couch together, then you would love the Terri Cole membership, you guys. Go to terricole.com/TCM to check it out. And in the meantime, I hope you have the most amazing week. And as always, take care of you.